This session of Utilizing Complex Text is meant for all teachers with specific examples embedded for elementary and middle school levels. Let's start with the why. Teachers utilize complex text to help students increase their reading comprehension. Reading comprehension can be a gateway into the love of learning, and it can be a gateway into mastery of content across subject areas. Reading comprehension also plays a role in high-stakes testing. This chart, taken from the MDE website under test specifications, shows the levels at which each grade level encounters questions on the MCA. Third grade, for example, if you look at the middle Lexile range from 450 to 790, this row indicates that third graders will encounter questions most often in that range. The middle range, the middle Lexile range, are what most test questions are written at on the MCAs. If we translate that into our reading levels, you will notice that a 450 is about halfway through second grade, and that a 790 is almost at the fifth grade level. This means that third graders will regularly encounter easier questions written at a second grade level, as well as questions written at the fifth grade level. If students are to be able to interact with questions written well above their grade level in terms of reading comprehension, utilizing complex text makes sense to help them figure out a process to be able to do that on a regular basis. This strategy fits in very well with the Princeton paradigm, or the culture we're trying to create, where students are living at analysis and normalizing mistake-making is essential to learning. In other words, they're regularly engaging in productive struggle or trying to learn things that are currently beyond their grade level. Bottom line, when students practice doing things that are theoretically too difficult for them, they will constantly be pushing the boundaries of what they can currently do. In this case, when engaging with complex text, they will be increasing their ability at reading comprehension. Two techniques are utilized during this strategy: modeling metacognition, or the thinking that happens while we're trying to figure out complex text, and close reading questions that allow us to analyze the text more closely. In order for the teacher to prepare for these tasks, there are some resources that could be helpful. On the MD website, under test specifications, there's a listing of what students are really required to know and be able to do as tested by the MCA. You will notice on this list for third grade, under the second bullet, students are required to cite specific textual evidence literally, or to identify such evidence generally. They are also supposed to, in the third bullet there, distinguish between fact and opinion, but at the beginning of that phrase, make inferences. A document like this is rich in helping us brainstorm what would be some common, good, close reading questions at this grade level. So the question, is this text written as fact or opinion, is a good question, but also what can you infer from this text is a good question for students to practice over and over with different text. I also notice in third grade that central idea, theme, central message, or main idea come up in questioning. Any of those terms could be used when referencing either an entire text or an extended section of text. Students will need to be able to talk about central idea, theme, central message, or main idea interchangeably and be able to apply those concepts to different sized texts. Another resource that is helpful for teachers when planning some close reading questions is the achievement level descriptors, also on the MDE website. This will give more specifics as to what a third grader or each grade level should be able to do to meet the standards. I notice, for example, in the middle of this page, third graders are supposed to be able to summarize from a section of text or text as a whole and get a variety of things, including theme, plot, supporting details, central message, etc. A document like this, again, is ripe for us in brainstorming what would be good questions to ask students during close reading. As specifications and achievement level descriptors can help us build good questions, but growth mindset is also part of teacher preparedness. The teacher needs to believe that students are able to read text outside their current comfort level and learn from that text. It's also important that students are prepared for this task that we're going to give them. Students should know that we expect this to be a challenge. Sometimes students believe that they should know or be able to do the things we're trying to teach them already. It shouldn't be easy. It should be a bit of a struggle to figure out what this text means. Students should also believe that even though this will be difficult, they should be able to do it, and we believe that they can. This sample comes from Newsella. As I read the headline, Olympians Chloe Kim and Red Gerard are our Gen Z heroes, and look at the level Newsella has categorized this article, I see that it is at max. I've pulled this as a sample of something you could use with third grade students. Let's read the headline again together. Olympians Chloe Kim and Red Gerard are our Gen Z heroes. Judging from this headline, how many people do you think this story is about? And what can you infer is going to be a theme or message in this story? One of the paragraphs in the article starts with, Kim is a 4-time X Games champion, speaks 3 languages, and attracted numerous sponsors for the, and I'm going to skip that word, games. But she has risen to internet fame in the last few days for simultaneously seeming human and superhuman. Does anyone in the class know how to pronounce that word that begins with a P? And if so, how do they know? Is there anyone in the room that would like to practice sounding out how you would pronounce this? I'm also wondering what the word simultaneously means. If you say the phrase simultaneously seeming human and superhuman, what would that mean? Jumping down in the article to another paragraph, this one starts with, these 2 breakfast sandwich loving teenagers captivate Americans in part because of their youth. SB Nation writer Charlotte Wilder tweeted, we should rethink the age restrictions on the presidency because if Chloe Kim and Red Gerard ran on a ticket together, I'd vote for them tomorrow. The Cut deemed the pair cool teens, and one Twitter user looked to Kim's social media presence for personal motivation. If Chloe Kim can tweet about ice cream while casually doing 90-plus Olympic runs, I can go to work tomorrow. Let's talk a little bit about this text. At the last line, it's a tweet. Twitter user looked to Kim's social media presence for personal motivation, and then it says, if Chloe Kim can tweet about ice cream while casually doing 90-plus Olympic runs, I can go to work tomorrow. Why would Chloe Kim not be capitalized, even though it's a proper noun? I'm also wondering what the person who tweeted this is meaning by, if Chloe Kim can tweet about ice cream while casually doing 90-plus Olympic runs, I can go to work tomorrow. What does that mean? I'm also curious why in the first line, 2 breakfast sandwich loving would be hyphenated like that. Why don't you turn and talk to your neighbor? Could you summarize the main idea of this paragraph? In fact, if we split the partners into A and B, partner A could summarize the main idea of this paragraph, and partner B could describe whose point of view in which the paragraph is written. Utilizing complex text, again, is a combination of modeling the metacognition or the thinking process you engage in when you personally read complex text for yourself. Close reading strategies are all about asking questions that help the students process through the meaning of the paragraph or text you've selected. This article is taken from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, which is commonly written at a level 6th graders would encounter on the MCAs. Travel woes expected to grow by early afternoon, Weather Service says. Many schools have called off classes on Monday ahead of the storm. I think perhaps there's a typo right here in the headline. What does the word woes mean? As we read through this article, students might take a first try through it by themselves. Then on the second reading, the teacher would model, travel is fine at the moment as mainline roads in the metro area are generally wet, but that's not likely to be the case by early Monday afternoon as a powerful and complex storm promises to deliver up a big dumping of snow to the Twin Cities and much of central Minnesota. Please write in one sentence what this paragraph is about. I might have to read it a second time for myself so that I understand it completely. Travel is fine at the moment as mainline roads in the metro area are generally wet. Travel is fine at the moment, but that's not likely to be the case by early Monday afternoon, as a powerful and complex storm promises to deliver up a big dumping of snow to the Twin Cities and much of central Minnesota. Going on, ahead of the heavy snow, a mix of rain, sleet, and light snow will set the stage for what could be one of the largest snowfalls of the season. The liquid precipitation will change over to all snow by Monday afternoon, with heavy wet snow falling at 1 to 2 inches per hour by 3 p.m., the National Weather Service said. Plan on difficult travel conditions, including during the evening commute, the Weather Service said. What does commute mean? If you were looking at this text, what is the author's purpose in writing it? Is this informational text or literature? Is it fact or opinion? Summarize what the author is trying to say. Complicating matters will be winds gusting as high as 45 miles per hour, causing anything that falls to blow around, the Weather Service said. A winter storm warning is put into effect at 6 a.m. Monday, and it will last until 6 a.m. Tuesday when the moisture-laden storm is expected to finally wind down. Early predictions call for 6 to 9 inches of snow in the metro area, with localized accumulations of up to a foot just north of the metro, particularly in the Princeton and Little Falls areas, the Weather Service said. If you didn't know what localized accumulations meant, how could you figure it out within context of this sentence? The punch-packing storm prompted scores of school districts to cancel classes on Monday, not wanting to chance having to transport students home during the afternoon's inclement weather. Earlier this year, the St. Paul School District faced serious backlash when a big snowstorm paralyzed traffic and some students didn't get home until 10 p.m. What? What does this mean happened? What is inclement weather, do you suppose? Why did the author include this paragraph at the end of the article? So again, utilizing context or complex text means two things really strategically. We're modeling our metacognition so that students understand when they encounter text that is beyond their reading level, whether it be sounding out words, definitions of words, understanding placement of words, that we've got some thinking to do and some strategies we can do inside our brains to figure out what it means, even if we don't understand it on the first reading. Close reading is all about asking questions of the students so that they pick apart the meaning and the structure of the paragraphs or text. Both of these techniques are used to increase reading comprehension, and if students continually practice reading outside their comfort zones, they will continually push the lexile at which they are comfortable. This may not be something students will do all day, every day, but it's certainly something students should visit daily in order to increase their reading comprehension to maximum levels.